Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Dungeon Boss PvP series. With Winterfest wrapping up, I felt like it's important to go over Goretusk and some of his PvP mechanics as far as attacking goes. As far as using Goretusk, he is very unique in terms of tanks. He is not a typical tank in the sense. He is not just a fast tank, but he's a new tank altogether. He protects the team via passive damage reduction rather than by direct taunting. Now, he obviously does have a taunt that starts up, but his main claim to fame is that he reduces damage for everybody. And so while a lot of other tanks, when they taunt, they get killed very, very quickly, with passive damage reduction, it's now up to the person attacking you or the person you're attacking to either deal damage to him and make him stronger, or continue to do damage to your team and not do as much damage. So, being that PvP defense is pretty much fixed in terms of how it's going to be used, it's in your best interest to try and best micromanage him when you use your PvP attacks, because you can really control the flow of battle by doing so. So we're going to do a couple of raids here just to show you how I use the Goretusk here, and how to, I guess, best utilize him, not make rookie mistakes. We'll just pick the far right here. This is probably one of the most challenging raids out there right now with Zom and Darius. So we want to use Goretusk, for example. We don't need to have Hopper on there because they don't have a Solaris on their team. So I'm going to pick these three as my core. And then my fourth, pretty much my go-to for any Zom team, is actually Furnace. And so I'll actually switch the order here and do my taunt first, and then Solaris. It'll just add a little bit extra fire damage. So typically speaking, when you're running Goretusk teams, if you're going against Shade is almost always public enemy number one, because based on my team here, I have two Spirit Immunes, well, not Spirit Immune, but two Spirity type people in a Construct, and then Goretusk. What this means is that on the second turn, Shade is guaranteed to Spirit Link Goretusk. That's going to happen. It's up to you how you're going to manage that. Now, the other thing with this one is this team is super, super potent. The reason being is Darius does a ton of damage. Typically, when I go against Zom Darius teams, I'll actually switch things up a little bit and go with double damage reduction instead. So it's really up to you if you want to mitigate that or if you want to use the damage reduction that we have with Goretusk here. I do have another video of basically this same team but with stronger runes. I'll show that at the end here. But what I would normally do is I would swap out Shade for Furno. And then the expectation being that Furno would deal enough damage to take care of Darius in the long run. And then the Wildfire debuff would help pretty much across the board, possibly even save you from a Spirit Link. We're going to roll with this team here first, just because Shade is probably my primary damage dealer in almost every raid that I do. So we're going to keep him on board. We want to see how much damage is actually done by Darius. We want to protect our team from too much damage by using Goretusk's reduction. So, like I said, this is probably one of the single most challenging raids out there, particularly if you pick a bad team. Now, this here isn't a guaranteed win, but this particular team composition is what I use for almost every single Zom team that's not Shade related. If there's no Shade, I can use Goretusk all day. Big thing on this first turn when you're going against Goretusk, I wasn't expecting to do Goretusk versus Goretusk. I was going to focus on just offense. Don't use your first skill here. Everything that you do in this first turn is going to be wasted. Throw a pot shot on Goretusk and try and get some damage reduction. Now that probably could have killed him there, but it's not really worth the risk in my opinion to waste that first skill. So, looking at the numbers that came in, Darius at about 5,000 to Shade. That's really the one that you want to pay the most attention to, because Shade is going to be our damage dealer here. We brought along Furnace to take care of Zom. And then we could use our heals here. The only reason you would use a heal is if you want to get some AoE damage on these guys here. To be honest, I don't think that's going to be necessary. What we want to focus on is getting rid of Darius. Darius in turn 2 is going to be absolutely brutal if we don't kill her. So we're going to do a basic attack on Darius. Again, the damage reduction from Inferno plus the Shroud was going to, I mean, that's basically how it was going to go. Now, when you use Goretusk, a lot of people love to whip out the sweeping charge on the first turn. Maybe you're going against a Koros team or some other high-powered team. Do not use this in your first turn ever. It's a wasted turn, in my opinion. You want to take this here and control the number of stacks. Right now we got 4 stacks. We want to keep our damage reduction as high as possible, so we want to constantly use Tusk Charge to keep reducing our momentum. Again, it doesn't matter who we attack here. The taunt is off of their Goretusk, and anybody we attack, the other 3 is just going to basically parry it anyways because of the Shroud and the damage reduction. So it's up to you if you want to add stacks to their Goretusk to lower the damage reduction and increase his next attack. I'm going to have 2 stacks going into the next turn, so I feel like no matter what, I could probably soak his avalanche attack. So I will go ahead and throw this on their Goretusk just to do some extra damage. They wouldn't have done anything to anybody else. And I guess the issue with this team that I had here was that my Goretusk still had his taunt up. Typically, Furnace will take care of that. I guess I wasn't expecting that taunt to go back up with the momentum going back down. So that was kind of an error on my part. Really, we just have to make sure we survive long enough to possess Zom, and then we should be fine. The thing is with this one, if we kill Zom too soon, their Shade's going to possess him. So we actually have, and I guess call it order of operations, if you will. There is a importance level that we have to deal with here. The most important person to kill is going to be Darius, in my opinion. We're going to throw as much damage on her as we can. And then, let's see, Solaris isn't full health, so I'll just do some AoE damage here. And this, if we survive, then we should be okay. Furnace is going to be alright. There was the attack by Darius that I want to get rid of. Now we should be pretty much golden. I say pretty much because, well, you never know. So we're going to take care of Darius. Zom will then take care of her corpse. We don't have to worry about her ever again. Because we already lost Goretusk, we don't have to worry about any more Spirit Links. So it's just a matter of mitigating damage with Shade. They're all burning, so they're going to be slowly taking damage. We should be in a pretty good spot here. The worst thing that could happen here is if Zom decides that he wants to take away my corpse. So we have to be very, very cautious about how we handle Solaris. We don't want her to end up dead, but we're not going to be able to taunt with Furnace for a little bit. When we get to this point here, some people will say go after Zom because he's got the shock. You got to be very, very, very cautious with the Shade Zom teams, because if it kills Zom, their Shade's going to possess. Remember, he's had that possession up since the very first turn. So the smart play here is either to Spirit Link on Zom, keep yourself alive, or to kill their Shade. Now, in my opinion here, because they're going to have a couple of turns, the best possible thing for me right now is to Spirit Link, because I'm at half health. Their Shade, or just a wayward attack my way, is going to kill my Shade, and that's going to cause problems, particularly if their Zom is going to try and do some corpse removal. So take the safe route. Always take the safe route when you're attacking, especially if you're on a big streak. We're going to be able to do plenty of damage. Again, their Shade won't be able to Spirit Link at all. And actually, this might work out well. I was going to say if I could have possibly killed Zom, but it probably wasn't going to happen. Fortunately, Furnace survived that attack, which is good. Now it's just a matter of how do we want to handle this. We'll kill Shade, keep the Spirit Link up, as long as those other guys aren't too powerful. I've seen those guys do some serious damage. If you have a really well-ruined Zom, it can be pretty brutal. Alright, so their Zom is dead. We're going to actually possess him. That's the safest maneuver at this point here. And we get some allies to work with. And let's unleash the hounds. At this point here, we should be looking at pretty much auto win. Now, the raid itself didn't look pretty, but it's still a pretty strong team in terms of attacking. We didn't really get to see Goretusk really shine that much. That's kind of unfortunate, but that's partially because of the team that we went against. When you run Goretusk against beast teams, it's a lot more efficient. Running these Shade and Zom and Darius teams is a major pain, so sometimes Goretusk just can't hack it. You might want to think of other avenues to pursue. But we got away with a win against a very, very solid defense. That's no slouch of a defense. Let's see what we got here. And kind of a boring one. That one's too easy. Flambeau, that's actually kind of interesting. Flambeau is a city in Wisconsin that I happen to know of. We're going to just pick the most powerful one here. They don't have a Gortusk, so it's going to allow us to do some mitigation. They do have Shadow Blade, though. If they do 2 attacks on Goretusk, it might be a little bit dangerous on our part. We want to, in my opinion, we want to take our Bunny along. The reason that I'm taking Bunny along is because if I don't stop their corpse, Shade might just possess their bunny, and that can make things challenging for my part. This team composition here is actually a very, very popular one that I use in a lot of the seasons that I've run this year. This is my anti-beast team, so I run this composition against pretty much every single beast team that I come across. And then sometimes if Shade's in there, I'll switch things up a little bit. But really, the only thing with this particular team that I'm using is determining who Shade's going to Spirit Link. Best case scenario, he does Spirit Link against Hopper. Highly defensive Hopper. She doesn't take very much damage. Works out well for us. But this should be a win. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to throw a simple basic attack on Hopper first. And see if we can get lucky with an epic attack, and then that'll take care of their bunny. And then that way, even if Shadow Blade tends to do some major damage against Goretusk, and then Ponty comes in and cleans house, we should be okay and not lose anybody. But this should be a big 0, which it was. Again, do not use your first ability on these here, especially with everybody shrouded. It's possible that Haunted Pass could kill their Hopper, but it's unlikely that it will. You're better off hoping for an epic and getting the 3 times there. In addition to that, if you get the epic attack, you get protection with Hopper. She's going to get Shroud for another turn. Unfortunately, that means he's going to Spirit Link Goretusk, but at that point, the match is going to be over anyways. He can Spirit Link and Possess, and it'll be all over. The only real issue with this one here is making sure their Hopper is dead. Once their Hopper is dead, not a big deal. So we got the epic attack that we wanted, and now at this point, I would almost consider this an auto win. So we just do a little basic clean up here. Again, their Shade is going to Spirit Link. There's no point using Sweeping Charge. I can't freeze anybody. So throw a little bit extra damage on Ponty since Shade's going to be around another couple turns. But because their Hopper is dead, Gortusk is diseased, so it's kind of, he's not going to get much out of the heals here, so I'm actually going to save this. You have to be smart about how you use your heals. So there's the Spirit Link that I talked about. We'll go ahead and throw a pot shot on Ponty. It should kill him. Skeleton can hang around for a couple turns. And then normally that first turn, if Hopper does her thing, she has her Soul Devour up. But in this case, we don't have that, so there's not much I can do. So we'll just try and kill. Well, we can't really do anything, so hit Goretusk, see if he survives. At this point here, now we could start thinking about using our CC if we want. It's unlikely that we're going to hit Shadow Blade because of his evasion. And personally, I don't feel like there's any point in trying to freeze the Ponty skeleton. It's kind of a waste. So the best possible option here is to lower our damage reduction. Throw it on somebody here. It's going to hit himself. And that's that. We don't have enough Fury here, and it's unlikely that we're going to kill Shade, because basically Solaris has to kill Shade because Goretusk does not have his feather anymore. So the possession of Goretusk is going to happen. Like I said, that's pretty common, but it's not the end of the world. At this point, like I said, it's pretty much game over anyways. I don't fear anything with this here. We'll throw... We don't even need to use... No, let's just take out Goretusk here. Hit him because of the shock damage. and because my Shade is super powerful. Alright, Shade still has his taunt up, but he doesn't have Spirit Link, so we can throw some wounding on him. And I don't see any instances where we're going to lose anything here. Yeah, Bunny laughs at that. So we could either kill Shade or we'll just do a double attack here. Doesn't really matter. Bring back him. Kill Shade first, just because of the random possibility that he would gank the Bunny and we end up losing that, but now it's over. So we got to use some damage reduction on Goretusk a little bit here, but again, it wasn't overly exciting. We'll do one more raid for good measure here. So here we go. This will be a good one here, because they're going to do some damage against Goretusk. So we don't need Hopper. We're going to take Solaris. We can do a number of different things as far as this goes, because honestly, we're pretty much all set. We have to have Furnace. I like to have Furnace. We'll do a longer one just to show you how how this works here. You have to be careful about the order here. If I put Furnace in there, we need to make sure that Furnace goes after Hansuke, because he's going to be kind of douchey and he's going to purge the taunt, and that opens up some possibilities of Goretusk getting ganked. So we're going to go like this. We will throw Solaris on there. We will throw Furnace, and then we just need a damage dealer. So it's really up to you who you want to use as a damage dealer. Personally, why not go with the Beast Train here? We'll go with Grognog just for durability. I'm not saying this is going to be an auto win, but it really should be. The only thing that could possibly go wrong is if Goretusk doesn't take damage and he still has his taunt up and their Zom somehow ganks him like we've seen before. Again, do not use your sweeping charge the first turn. Sort of a waste. We'll just throw some provoking on here. In fact, we're going to throw some provoke on Hansuke just to make sure we get some extra damage towards Goretusk. It's okay if he dies. It's actually better if he does, because then I can just taunt away with Furnace. So there's that. And then Grognog is going to bring the pain. Normally, depending on the team you're going against, if you don't need to slow them, I would use the Snow Day first. And then I can use, in turn 2, I would use the Solaris' heal against Shade when he Spirit Links to purge that Spirit Link. But now it's up to us if we want to use our sweeping charge. We can use it on the first turn if we want, but honestly, let's keep the damage reduction and go that route here. That's ultimately what I'm trying to showcase here, is that he saves the team by doing damage reduction. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep my heal for now. Most of my guys have pretty full health, so there's no point in wasting this. I want to use it after Snow Day to purge their buffs. As far as kill order goes, it doesn't really matter at this point. Usually, the smart money is to kill Zom first, because he keeps bringing people back. But without Shade, Hopper, or Solaris on their team, you can kind of take your time and have some fun with it, which in high-end PvP, you don't get too many chances to have a lot of fun. It's mostly pick the same. I think I use no more than 8 heroes in my entire Boss 100 run this last season, so... Goretusk is down. That's okay. They can keep on doing their worst, but Grognog is so tough, it honestly doesn't matter. So, and their entire team is burning. They're shocked. It's honestly, there's not much they're going to be able to do. And then we're going to strip away the last little bit of buffs they have as well. And there's no pressure here, so just do basic attack. Probably won't kill Zom. No epic on Grog. That's too bad. I would have liked to see an epic there. Poor Zom has stupid fillets of minions. Didn't really get to do anything that turn. And now, it's like I said, it's basically an auto win. There's really never much question in my mind about winning or losing this raid. It was pretty much a guarantee. This is when we wish we had the auto button like we get in the tower, but that's okay. All right, we're sitting on right about 20 minutes. That's going to wrap up the commentary aspect here. I do have one other video that I'm going to show right after this. It's a couple of minutes showing one of those really, really difficult Zom teams. It's kind of a bonus video showing my double damage reduction team. It uses Goretusk and Furno both as damage reduction, and then we use Zom or Furnace for Zom, and then we use Solaris for reviving. It's not a pretty team, but it tends to be pretty durable. So have a look at that, and then we will see you again next time. Thanks. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. If you like this video, please show your continued support by hitting that like button, and be sure to check out both my YouTube channels for new content all the time. And always remember, peace is a lie, there's only passion. We'll see you next time.